Thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you don't know who I am, and this is your first time here stopping on this channel, my name is Rachel and I make faith-based, lifestyle, and beauty-related content here on YouTube. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, please consider subscribing. So your girl turned 26 last month, and being on my spiritual journey and being out of my mid 20s, it kind of put me in a reflective state to really think about where my life has been, what have I been doing, that sort of thing. And I've looked at all the things I've learned so far. So I thought it would be a cute video to just come and give you guys 26 lessons that I've learned in 26 years. This is not an exhaustive list, but I've probably compiled it into my most important or the first things that came to my mind. I didn't want to overthink it too much. I hope that maybe some of this resonates with you, and you can tell me below some of the lessons that you've learned so far and if any of these lessons are on your list as well. So the first one I have is people always dislike you once you disagree with them. And as someone who cares about what people think, especially people that I love, this was a very hard pill for me to swallow. And it's okay to not agree with each other. It doesn't mean that I don't love you. It doesn't mean that we can't be friends. It doesn't mean that we can't be in a relationship. We are different persons and we're going to have different perspectives. To expect that someone in your life is going to always be a yes man or always agree with what you say, I don't think that that's the way life works. And yeah, that's something I had to learn. The next one is your healing cannot depend on someone's willingness to actually, recognize that they hurt you and acknowledge that they hurt you, or even them coming and saying sorry. You have to choose to forgive and make that start to heal on your own, because it's really not about them. You have a responsibility to forgive. You don't have control over what someone else is going to do. So you need to work on you and let the Lord handle the rest of it. And this kind of segues into my next point, which is forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. You can forgive somebody for hurting you, for causing you pain, that sort of thing, but it doesn't mean that you guys have to get back together. Doesn't mean that you guys have to be besties, but just clearing that space in your heart that there's no bitterness or hatred towards them is key and very important. Next thing on my list is rest is a commandment, not a luxury. Even God rested to show us that it was necessary. It is part of the Ten Commandments. And I think in today's culture and society, there's like this go 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 mentality and being a boss babe and hustle culture. People don't realize that rest is important, quietness is important, stillness is important, because it is in those moments where you can actually reflect and think about yourself, think about the past and the change that you need to make, the improvements that you need to make, and then also hear from God. The next thing is happiness is not in people or things, but it is in your ability to be content in whatever situation it is. I know that a lot of people hear, oh, happiness is a mindset, and it sounds a bit cliche, but the fact is it's actually the truth. We cannot let our state of being be determined by what is happening around us, especially if it is something that is out of our control. Because the truth is, what is worrying, what is stressing, what is sadness going to do for the situation? Is it going to help to change it in any way? I've learned that if something isn't fruitful, you need to let it go. Contentment is the goal. Looking for the positive in every situation, because I truly believe that there's something to be learned in every single thing, and there's something to be thankful for in every aspect of our life. And the sixth one is failure just means to try again, or failure just means not that one, or try something else. I'm someone who used to be afraid of failing so bad, but then I had to ask myself, what is really the worst outcome? And is the worst outcome really that bad? And life is such that we are given more than one opportunity to get up and brush ourselves off and go and try one more time. And the most beautiful thing about failure is that is how you actually learn how to do something even better for the next time. I think another word to use instead of failure is sort of like continuous improvement. Because okay, this didn't work out, and then you look back at the situation and say, okay, where how can I approach it a bit differently, or what else can I do, or maybe I can go to a different idea and leave that one alone altogether. This one is pretty funny. And I learned it in one of my trainings. Big up Dana if you're watching this. But this is if you do not like where you are not a tree, move. And I feel like a lot of people purposely keep themselves stuck in situations, stuck in a particular mindset, not knowing that they have the power to get themselves out of it. They keep themselves in that situation and it just leads to complaining, and then they start feeling hopeless, and then hopelessness leads to depression and that sort of thing. And then a lot of the times people don't want to move because it means going out and trying something different, and they have been comfortable in their situation for so long that they don't want to challenge themselves. But if you are not happy where you are, or you see that it's not helping you to progress as a person in whatever environment you are in, know that you have the ability to change it. Number 8, friends, partners, family members, they are not your therapists, and they are not responsible for your happiness. You need to learn to be happy on your own as an individual, and also learn that people have their own lives, people have things going on. So the fact that if you would really expect that they should be there for you on a continuous basis whenever you need them to unload all of your issues and problems and get advice whenever you want, that is not what a relationship is. And I would advise or suggest that you actually seek someone whose job it is professionally to help you unpack those issues and work through them in a healthy way. My life is not my own. I was bought at a price, and I should live accordingly to the one who created me. One of the things that really came to me, and a realization and epiphany, revelation, whatever you want to call it, that came to me during my spiritual journey is just the awareness of God and His sovereignty over my life, and the fact that my very breath is a gift. And we kind of take that for granted. There's this disconnect, like, okay, God made me and I'm here and I'm just going to do what I need to do till I die. But He gives life and He takes it away. And so we should always remember that this life is not only about us. And if God is really Lord over you, you would understand that He is to be consulted in everything aspect of your life. God should not only be someone you go to ask for things. Your life itself and the things you do in your life should honor Him, and you including Him in every aspect of your life is how you honor Him. The next thing is no is enough. No further explanation is needed. I tell my friends this all the time, I am a recovering chronic people pleaser. And so a lot of the times when I don't want to do something, but I also feel like I don't want to let down the person that is asking, when I give my no, I try to give an explanation as to why. So, they don't feel like, oh, I just don't want to do it. And the fact of the matter is, if I don't want to do something, that's quite fine. If someone in your life doesn't understand that, then boy, I don't know what to tell you. That person probably just is only concerned about their well being and what they want out of the situation. But yeah, if you can offer an explanation, if you do on your own, you can volunteer certain information. But I really feel like no is enough. And even like in dating as women, we tend to not feel safe around men. And so when we give a no, we're like trying to come up with all these stories and that sort of thing. Men should learn that a no from a woman is enough and that it's okay, and consent is a thing. So yeah, I think I'm learning right now that I don't need to be listing out A to Z why I don't want to do something or why I can't do something. Simply just I don't want to do that right now. I don't have the capacity to do that right now is quite okay and is enough and sufficient. People who don't want you to have boundaries are only concerned about crossing them to get what they want. So if you have ever met a person where you set a boundary with and they're upset about it or they're finding reasons why they don't want to agree to it, chances are they don't really care about you. They're just thinking about themselves and how it's going to affect them when they want something or they need something or when they feel like when they want to use it for something, right? And we all have a capacity. We cannot pour from an empty cup. And then, if something makes you uncomfortable, you have the right to voice that. And the truth is, if people do not respect your boundaries, then those people really don't have any need to be in your life. We're now at number 12. The next one is perfection is not the goal, but progression. I think whenever we make changes in our lives, whether it's healthy habits, a new routine, starting our spiritual journey, whatever it is that we want to do, we feel as if we need to go hard and go 100% all the time. And if we probably fail one day, it means just give up altogether. So, like, for example, you might say, I'm going to try to eat better for the next 30 days. And then, like, on day 10, you messed up and well, not really messed up, but on day 10, you didn't eat as great as you would have liked to. And so, because you feel so bad about that, you just kind of throw the whole 30-day journey out of the window. And we can't do that. Like, it is about the little changes that you make every day, the little habits that you acquire every day, and they will compile and build up, and you will soon see that when you look back, you are a completely different person now than you were 3 weeks ago, 6 months ago, 1 year ago. So it's all about just taking those baby steps, acknowledging when you kind of divert from the path that you wanted, and then come back again and brush yourself off and start the journey once more. Just don't give up. That is really the goal. Do not give up and continue to try. And trust me, you will get somewhere. I am my only competition. No one's path is my path. No one's plan is my plan. No one's purpose is my purpose. So how could I sit and compare myself with somebody else when we're not even walking the same road? And there's a little saying that I love and I continuously have it in my head. It's be better than you were yesterday and be better tomorrow than you are today. And I love it. I really do love it so much because it just shows that, you're only paying attention to how you improve on a daily basis, and your comparison is the person that you were yesterday to today. Confrontation is a part of healthy relationships. This is this one is rough, 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 rough. I am a person who just wants everybody to be happy, wants everybody to be together, doesn't want anybody to disagree. And I run from confrontation, but I've learned that it is necessary because there are times where you won't disagree on something and you have to confront that issue in order to move on in that relationship, right? So having those difficult conversations are necessary. And if you are, saying you have a connection with someone, whether it may be platonic or romantic, there are times where there's gonna be friction and you need to have discussions. But it's how you have those discussions that is important. And I've learned that you can't control how someone takes something as long as you are respectful and you are truthful and you be honest about how you feel, then you just have to really let it go, because it's not your responsibility to tiptoe on eggshells and worry about how someone might take something. Every single choice that we make either takes us closer or further away from our mission or purpose in life. And the more I realized that, is the more I really paid attention to the little, the things that seem insignificant, the little choices that seem insignificant in life. I've started paying a lot more attention to those, because even you deciding to talk to somebody or befriend somebody, or maybe go to the grocery store this day instead of that day, you probably avoided something that you didn't even know, or took yourself from something that you didn't even know. So choices are really important, and life is literally just a series of different choices that we make. And that's why it's so important to keep God close to us, to ensure that we're not deviating from our path, and we are keeping in line with things that are good and things that are of God. My worth is not tied to what I can do, what I can achieve, or how people feel about me, but in the one who created me. We rely so much on culture to tell us what success looks like. And you existing is just miraculous in and of itself. You existing is enough. You are enough. You are worthy. Not doing anything, just being. People react the best way they know how, based on their own life experiences. Something I had to learn is that people are not you. You will expect someone to, be a little nicer or probably handle a situation another way. But the truth is that not everyone is where you are. We are a product of our environment, of our upbringing, of our mindset, of our culture. And so a lot of the times people will react different to different situations. And we can't necessarily be mad at a person based on what they did. This realization has helped me a lot in like humanizing people and kind of curbing my annoyance or anger in certain situations. And it's not to excuse someone, because we all have a responsibility to seek to be better and make improvements in our life, right? But there are some people who just don't have that level of self awareness or emotional intelligence as yet. And when you just look at people as people, it kind of helps you to navigate things a bit more. And it's not like you're pitying them, but it's like, I understand, you did the best that you could based on your knowledge and understanding at the time. But do you learn from it though? That is the question. You will never always be motivated. Discipline is what actually creates and maintains a habit. So this is a very difficult lesson for me, because even with creating content, I have to make the videos, I have to edit the videos, I have to set up everything, put on makeup, all of those stuff, or, you know, fix up myself a little bit better. And I do every single thing on my phone, and, getting up and doing this stuff is not easy. I like it, and I love speaking about God. I love doing hair and all of that, but I think the setup in and of itself is exhausting, and so a lot of the times I really do not want to do it, because I know the work that is ahead of me. But I have to literally speak to myself and push myself, because I know what I want out of the situation at the end of the day. I don't always feel like doing it, but I get up and I do it anyways, because there is a goal in mind. And that is what discipline is. It's not being led by feelings, but to be led by a goal. Just because you can do it yourself doesn't mean you have to or should. God put people on this earth for a reason. When people want to help you, accept the help and do not be afraid to ask for said help. I know for me as well, a part of me not wanting to ask for help is a control sort of thing because I think the person may not do it as well as I would, or I feel like maybe they're going to use it against me or throw it back in my face at another point in time. But we have to learn to trust people because if we don't trust people, there's no point in relationships. And that's just it. And we have to learn to trust that God will put good people in your life that have your best interest at heart, and pray for discernment that you know to go and ask for help from the right people. My life was already laid out and designed for me. I simply have to walk the path that was created. A big awakening is that there is no past, present, and future with God. He does not exist in time. Your life has been laid out. He knows what He has for you. God knows what you're going to do before you even do it. Our responsibility is to just get to the destination. And I had to learn like there's no necessarily wrong path. There is wrong choices in terms of what is pleasing to God versus what is not. But there's no necessarily wrong path in the sense that God will always try to redirect you. So even if you go somewhere else, He's gonna do something to try to get you back on the route. It just might take a little longer than it was supposed to because you caused a delay going somewhere else, but it doesn't mean that you're derailed off the plan entirely together, if that makes sense. And that helps me a lot because I'm a person who always is worrying about making the right decision. And, I'm just learning to be led and just allow God to order my steps and make the stops where necessary. You don't have to get it right, you just have to start. It is impossible to know everything, it's impossible to have everything that you need when you want to do something. And if you just constantly sit there waiting for all the resources to be there, waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right time, waiting till you have this knowledge or that knowledge, you will never move. And that is something I had to learn with starting to make these videos. I don't have the best phone. I have a very little ring light and I don't have the best equipment. I don't have a fancy background, all of those things. But I knew that I couldn't let that deter me from just starting because my environment, yes, God appreciates quality. Um, and to me, I think that this is quality because it is my best effort with what I have. And so we can't get caught up with all the bells and the whistles that we lose the goal or we lose the whole entire reason why we want to start in the first place. Things will eventually get to where you need it to be. But until you start, you will never get there or see what it could turn into. It's okay if you don't know, as long as you try to figure it out or try to know or try to learn eventually. Especially like in the working world, you feel like you need to say yes to everything in terms of you need to know what's going on all the time or you need to have an answer for everything all the time. And again, that is impossible. But I think having the attitude of no, I don't know, but I will find out. Or no, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. Teach me. So it's having that open mind that the bank of knowledge can never run empty. And when you don't know something, it is just an opportunity for you to know it better than somebody else. Because somebody might know this little aspect and then you don't know at all, so you decide to go learn and you learn how to do that thing better than the person who was saying that they knew, or you probably discovered something else that they didn't know about and it kind of added to your knowledge, right? So it's okay if you don't know as long as you make an effort to find out. Love is service and sacrifice. Everybody loves to throw around the words, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, right? Or even saying, oh, I love God. And we really and truly don't know what we are saying. And that is why a lot of relationships don't work out. That is why a lot of friendships don't work out. A lot of family has issues, or even why we'll find out that we can't get closer to God because we're focused on our own needs, and we're focused on just a feeling rather than understanding that love is a commitment and it's an action, and you want this person to be happy, you want to take care of this person, you want to grow with them. So you will do something, you'll do what it takes in order to keep the relationship alive, in order to show that you care about their well being as well. So when we say we love God, or when we say we love somebody, can we think of a time where something didn't make sense to us to do it, or we didn't really want to do it, but we did it anyway because we cared about them? And I think that's a question that we have to ask every time we really utter the words, I love you. You cannot avoid getting hurt, and someone hurting you doesn't necessarily mean that they don't love you. Now, when I want to explain this to people, I always liken it to God, because we do things that hurt Him. We think that God doesn't have feelings, but He actually does. And He cares about us. And when we deviate from His plan, or when we turn away from Him or dismiss Him, I'm sure that it hurts. Or to see His creation utterly destroying each other, destroying the planet, that sort of thing, I'm sure it grieves Him a lot. But He still loves us anyway, and He probably knows that we might love Him too, but we just don't get it right all the time. And so people are gonna hurt you, and that is the risk with love. It wouldn't hurt if you didn't actually love the person. And this is not an excuse, or this is not a justification for staying in abusive relationships. That is not what I am saying. I'm just saying that people can do things not realizing that it caused some sort of pain unintentionally. But afterwards, like when they realize, they will come back and say sorry or try to fix it in some way. But there are going to be instances where you get hurt. So the fact that we want to avoid relationships or avoid people or getting close to people altogether because we want to do that, then you're never ever going to make any connection. And that's something that's hard for me, because I hate is a strong word, but I don't like vulnerability at all. And putting my heart in somebody's hands is a very scary thought. But I have to realize that even if they do hurt me, hearts can be mended and healing will come. The next thing is, the only thing constant is change. We are always evolving, things are always changing, always getting better. Continuous improvement is the goal. And whether we like it or not, things will be different. There's no way that even the next second, there's something else, there's some new development out there that you don't know that's happening, or some formulation or some creation, some idea that's out there that's happening. And so we have to figure out I had to figure out how to be okay with change. Even if it's not something that I would agree with, or even if it's something that I would have wanted to avoid, I have to learn to be okay with that and figure out how to work around it, because change is not going anywhere, and change is important for development, for investigation, to uncover certain things that you didn't know before. So embracing change, as painful as it can be sometimes, or a bit annoying as it can be sometimes, is necessity in this world. And the last thing is, the worst thing that someone can tell you when you make a request is no. And it simply means that either they are the ones that are meant to give it to you, or it is not the right time. And both of those circumstances are a good thing. Who wants to get something that they know they aren't ready for, that even if they don't know that they truly aren't ready for, or who wants to get something from the wrong person? So I think we need to start looking at those no's as a blessing in disguise and just let God do his thing, let God do his work, and don't stress it. And so guys, thank you so much for watching. We have come to the end of the video. Remember to leave a comment telling me if any of these are on your list and any lessons that you have learned in life so far. And share this with a friend if anything resonated with you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.